Hello and welcome to the Hard Stuff podcast. My guest today is Jess Peil. Jess is an ultra runner and philanthropist who has run very far. She's done a bunch of ultras and she's raised a hell of a lot of money. And she has some awesome stories to go with it. A few audio issues here and there because I'm using some new software. It is worth pushing through. It gets better at the back end. And the conversation was great. And Jess is just such an interesting, fun, bubbly person. Hope you enjoy the show. Thanks. Jess Peil, thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having me, Luke. Really appreciate it.
No worries. So I brought you on to talk about 777 and ultra running. And then last week, I didn't even realize I was following you on Facebook and you were doing was it a 250K ultra in New Zealand?
Yeah, I kind of went out of my comfort zone a lot with that one because I haven't done a multi-day event at all that's on trail.
Yep.
So we did 264K all up through the South Island of New Zealand and up over these ridiculous mountains and through rivers, and it was the best.
Wow. I mean, so it was around Queenstown, wasn't it?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, we went there with the family a few years ago. I love that place so much. Can you kind of talk us through what that race was and then maybe your personal journey through it? I mean, because what was it? It was a 6-day event?
Yeah, so it was 7 days, but 6 stages. We started off having I was freaking out initially, like I was really nervous, and then got there and the community was just beautiful. So it's called.
Wait, hold on. What were you nervous about? Because leading into this, I Googled your name and it came up with your ultra running history, and I almost fell off my chair, Jess. Like is so. What you have achieved is insane.
I get a little overexcited.
Yeah.
I have to do everything.
Yeah.
But I think I was more nervous because it was camping as well. So every day was camping, having to take all your own food.
Wow.
Only take one bag that was a certain size, and you had only 15 kilos maximum. And
did you have to bring your own camping gear? I didn't realize it was camping. So did you have to bring your own gear?
We had our own sleeping bag and sleeping mat, but we tent wise they provide all that.
Okay, so you just pull up and jump in a tent, sleep, and then get going again.
Yeah, exactly.
So did you say you have to bring all your own food?
All your own food, so it's all freeze dried, like that revolting food that you have to eat the whole week.
From a kilometer perspective, like how many Ks you're doing a day, all of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so we kicked off with a marathon the first day, just along this beautiful river and stuff. It was stunning. And then every day was around 35, 40 K every day. And then on the big day, which ended up being 83. And then a day off. And then a little weekend for the last day.
So how did you hold up?
Actually really good.
Were you able to sleep okay in the tent?
Look, when you're sleeping in the tent and you've got 10 tents around you and stuff, then you can hear everything. No, the amount of farting and swearing that I got to hear all week was nuts.
Well, it was funny. I don't know if you saw, I caught up with Googsy.
Yeah, I saw that. That's so cool.
Yeah, so but he was talking because I was like, was it hard to sleep on the private jet? And he kind of referred it back to 777. Like I remember our year, we were just all I was just so exhausted I could just sleep anywhere, so it wasn't a big issue,
Exactly. I sit there and I look at Googsy and his cushy private life.
That's a good point. Yeah. So how was it? Maybe tell us about some of the terrain and stuff, because Queenstown's such a beautiful location.
Look, it was phenomenal. A lot of the time we were on fire roads and stuff. So it was just undulation the whole time. And then a lot of single track as well, which was really great. Because that's my jam. So on the long day, on that 83K day, we started at the top and ran up deep. And we went through this mountain bike track and we got really overexcited and bombed it down there. Loved it. And then we hit this, the river and then we went up this mountain, and the mountain was so steep that I was at 24-minute Ks up the hill. And then it was the hardest down.
24-minute Ks. That's
Yeah,
like
it was.
half of walking speed.
Exactly. It was
Yeah.
so steep. And then it was the hardest downhill that I've ever done in my life. You're literally going down ramps and then just sliding the whole time. It was an experience.
Do you know how many meters of vert is in the whole event?
8,800 all up.
That's an Everest, isn't it?
I don't know. I haven't done it.
I'm pretty sure because my brother-in-law is a crazy ultra runner as well. When he was talking about doing an Everest in a day where he just runs up and down a mountain, and I'm pretty sure it's around 8,500.
That sounds
Which is-
about right.
which is wild. I can't do any sort of hills during an ultra whatsoever.
Oh, it's crazy. I mean, you hear about, I can't remember what the event is. I think it's Oscars or the Archpeak, and that's 6,000 meters vert in that
Yeah. Okay.
in Victoria. So
Yeah.
it's big to do.
Wow.
Crazy.
Wow. And so, how with all that vert, I mean, so your body held up okay, did it?
I actually held up really well. I had before I got into it, I had sciatica, and that's gone. So fixed
Okay.
it.
I'm gonna play my ignorance here. What's sciatica?
Sciatica is like a pulling down the back of your leg. So it's
Okay.
just a dull ache down the back of my leg the whole time. But it like literally, it's gone.
Okay. And how many people do this Southern Lakes?
Oh, we had 71
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Wow.
20 crew. And they were,
Wow. And do you mind me asking what's the cost on an event like that?
I think it was off the top of my head because it was a while ago that I registered. It was about $3,500 New Zealand dollars.
That's not too bad.
But it's already next year. It's 60% sold out already.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What? So that obviously they've got a limited amount of spots that they can
Correct.
cater for.
Correct.
Okay.
One year,
So
I think it was too much.
what's that? Sorry.
1 year they had 100 people participating, and it was just a bit too big, so they dropped it right back.
So how I usually operate, and this is a bit of a cycle now, is I'll sign up for something big and crazy,
Yeah.
and then as soon as that event's finished, I'll just do nothing for 3 to 6 months, and then I'll find another crazy event. So for after our year of 777, which for those listening who aren't aware, we met doing 7 marathons in 7 states of Australia in 7 days.
Yeah.
So yeah, after that, I didn't do it. I lost my love of running for about 6 months.
Well, you were
And
busted.
then, what's that? Sorry.
You were busted.
I was, yeah.
So
I was
broken.
really busted. I wasn't as prepared as I should have been for that. I had no deal. I should have signed up. But yeah, anyway, I just did Bustleton Ironman in December. And
Yeah.
I haven't really done anything since that. So I'm looking for another crazy event to sign up to, and just seeing the landscape and kind of the setup of what you just did. I think that might be it. I'm not sure.
Oh, you know what? For someone who was actually petrified of it before I started, I can't wait to do it again.
Do it again.
Yeah, I'll do it again. I've got mission.
How many ultras are you doing a year?
3.
Okay. Is
Three
that
ultras.
and that's
Crazy.
and that's including 777?
Yeah, including 777. So this year will be that one. Then obviously Lace Opera's done. Then there'll be Delirious West, the 100 miler over in WA in
So where's that?
in WA.
Oh, what's it called? The
Delirious.
Yeah, so I think that's run by Ultra SA.
I think so.
Because I was speaking to the guy who owns that company. So my brother-in-law just did the Belair Marathon, and I was sitting down with that guy, and he was telling me about all his events. They've got some crazy events, and they're putting on a lot more 100-milers now. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
I'm
so
looking forward to doing that one. I'm doing it with Loza, who did 777 as well.
oh wow.
Yeah, but
So Delirious, whereabouts is that? That's not the one in Bustleton, is it?
yeah,
Or near- It is, yes. That's why we're talking about it, because I told him that I was just in Busso doing the Ironman, and he was telling me about that event, and it sounds awesome.
Sounds so good. So
Yeah,
good.
like the land over there is just beautiful. I think that would be so much fun.
It looks amazing, but like they've said, just get your sand training going and get on sand and run. And I'm like, hey, sand.
It all just sounds so horrible, doesn't it?
Anyway, I'll give it a go because I'd really like to do the 200 miler that they have, but this is my like taster.
They do a 200. Where's that?
Ella, so what 320 k's here at
Do you know
Adelaide.
where that is? Is that the same event or a different event?
Event. Yeah, same event. So they
Oh
have
my
a 50
God.
miler and a 200 miler at the same event.
Oh my God.
Uh-huh.
so,
So,
so, I mean, the reason I reached out to you was, is this your seventh 777 in a row?
correct.
Oh my God. So you've done 7 marathons, 7 states in 7 days
Yeah.
in
7
7
years.
times in a row. Can I ask how much, do you have a figure of how much funds you've raised for charity?
I think at this point it's around 300,000 that I've raised over that time, and I've got on my list or on my, want to raise for this year is about 200,000. I'd love to get to 150.
Wow.
So
Wow.
last year was 90. So I was really, a real with last year's result. But yeah, just really want to go big or go home. It's fun.
So how did you first find 777 and what attracted you to the event? Why do you keep coming back every year?
Well, first found it from a woman in Canberra who had done it, and she was out at a local event called Colin, it's Colin running, and she was there doing just a training run, and because she was going into then, and it just piqued my interest, and it was one of those those serendipity stuff where we try not to work that's week, and his solicitor at the time had suggested about the thing that fitness gets involved with this thing called Bravehearts or something.
Yep.
And I said, "Oh, what should I do?" And I said, "Do you want to run?" And it's just started ran. But I think so often with stuff is it's challenge. So that first year it was like, I really want to see if anybody will handle it. But I also, and I said it to was organising it. I'm not going to be the first line, but I am going to raise money.
Yeah.
Every year since then, done. And
Wow.
so the first year I raised 5,000, I think it was the first year.
Sorry, you just broke up for a second.
65,000 that first year. So that was pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And so I did that one. And I really just got through the people who were involved. Like Betty was with us, KJ was there, Ian was there, and they're just the most beautiful, warm people.
Yeah.
And it really cemented in me that it's to do. I want to continue to do it. And I also think that there's things like, like IUX, suicide prevention, parole and drugs prevention. If we hit that, kids are young, a lot of this won't need it. Like if kids who have been affected by at such a young, so often the other things won't occur.
Yeah. Yeah. So in a way, it's trying to address the root cause of the issue rather than try to fix it later in life.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, I agree with you. I mean, I met just such an amazing group of people during my 777 experience. It's just such a wild combination of people that are willing to do something like run 7 marathons in 7 days, 7 stays, but also, want to raise money for charity. I mean, what kind of better group of people could you meet in life, I guess?
Gosh, it's the best. Like it's that thing with purpose, and
yeah,
it pushes you along a lot more than what, just, I'm going to go do a
Yeah. Yeah.
It's what
Yeah.
behind it. There's nothing behind it. So
Yeah. So
yeah,
how did you raise so much money? I mean, 65K in the first year. That's impressive.
was it kind of blew me away this year and stuff. And I was like, it just kept rolling in. So we've got a really incredible network through US. So there's a lot really with that. And then we also make a clothing sale. I have people donate like clothing to me, and I host like a full big sale, and that raised. Oh, the first year, I think I only raised about 4,000 during the first year, but it was a
Yeah.
good taster. I've done that every year since. And then just begging and pleading.
Wow.
So
Awesome.
yeah, it's I
And
think
and what about, I mean, how has that developed? Because I mean, 200,000, is that what you're looking for this year? Somewhere around 200,000?
yeah, two hundred
What's the
thousand.
what's the plan? What's the strategy? Has that begun yet?
It has begun. I'm sitting on just over 16,000 at the moment. Um, so I do have a lot of people in the Anytime Fitness family, so to speak, that do really get involved, and they host events in their club and all that sort of stuff as well, which is really great. Um, but yeah, that's kind of the big bulk stuff. What can you from that? So, and then everything else is picking and pleading.
Yeah. So I'm interested in about, I mean, you've done this amazing thing coming up to 7 times. I'm interested in like different years. Does the body respond in different ways? Is it always brutal? Is it sometimes fresh? I mean, what does that feel like?
Every year is different. So I keep finding that one year I'll be into it, the next year I won't. And then it'll
Okay.
just keep kind of rolling over like that. I think this year's my energy year, but we'll see what happens. Who knows? I think because we've got such a good medics team that comes along with us,
Yeah.
that it really does get through. But yeah, just a luck of the draw.
Yeah.
Like you can train so much for something with this, but you never know when an eagle is going to kick.
Mm.
So you just have to hope.
Just hitting hope. Yeah. Have you ever had any years where it's just gone by, breezy and felt amazing?
Yeah. Yeah. Last year was pretty good in regard, like as in injury wise, it was good. The second year, because that was like during COVID, so I did everything in Canberra by myself, and
Yeah.
just people come and join me each day, etc. But
Wait,
it was
wait, you did 7 marathons in Canberra by yourself.
yeah, yeah, 'cause it was all shut.
Ah,
Yeah,
was that 2020?
2020. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So that was all the shutdown year, and so I just picked different places. Which was good because I did different lakes around Canberra, and then also different mountains around Canberra, but just from the low and flat stuff. So
Yeah.
I think having that variety was really cool. But then I'd get home and I had a masseuse and I had my physio come over. So it was really great.
It sounds great, but it also sounds like I would struggle with motivation, like there's something about being in that atmosphere with a bunch of other people that are doing it too, and you're not in your own comfy bed and that you're like, oh, well, I'm here, I've got to do that. I think if I had to wake up in my own bed and go out and run my own marathon, I think in some ways that would be more difficult.
It was hard because you were the one like sitting there certain places and setting the starts and all that sort of stuff. But there were people there. So I
Yeah.
still had at least people or so every single day running with me.
Yeah. So is number 7 it, or are you retiring from 777, or are you gonna?
I'll never say never.
Yeah.
I'll see how it goes this year and stuff, and then just take it from there. I think my big thing was that and then
You want to
see
what? Sorry.
that I wanted to get to the seventh year and then see what happens.
Well, I
Um,
I remember that. Like, so I did it in 2022, and that's what you were
yeah,
saying back then as well. Yeah.
yeah, exactly, exactly. See, I'm like a one-trick pony. Doing the same thing. But I would love to also really look at doing the one that goes world
Yeah.
as well. I think from the year one, it was I wanted 7 and then around to the world one.
Wow.
But whatever I do, anyway, I'll still keep raising funds for breaks.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean, I think what Googsy did was awesome as well. I would love to do that. I don't think it fits into my life right now. Um,
come on.
yeah, I know. Just his story was so incredible, and just hearing about him running in Antarctica. I mean, what an
Amazing.
experience! And Colombia and Miami,
Oh, it
amazing.
just looks awesome. And it's really just it's just got me going. I'm really gonna do that as well. But they're
Yeah.
also fast. The people who are doing they're so fast.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, I thought you were incredibly fast during the 777.
No, I'm like hitting like 6 hour marathons and stuff every
Oh,
day.
okay.
But
Yeah.
like because the one thing that I like with the 777 marathon, I always sort of find that how fast you go in it doesn't matter. It's not, you can turn around and compare your times the year before or, compare your times to the day before or whatever. But that's ego. Like
Yes.
if that's what's driving you to do this event, leave. Like you're not doing it for the right reasons. You're supposed to be in there talking about the organization, talking about what they do, raising as much funds as possible to keep kids safe, not hitting and firing in your pace. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I agree with that. And also, like, I find from a personal point of view, it does take the fun out of it for me when I get my own ego involved. Like, even with the Iron Man, there's so much external pressure from everybody. Like, what time are you trying to hit? What time are you trying to hit? And I was kind of just like to be honest, I don't really care. Like, this is an awesome event. It's fun. I've done my training. I'm bringing the family up. It's just about an atmosphere. But like, you
Absolutely.
know, yeah, yeah, yeah. It's funny. Like, I got comments from people before I did the Ironman. Like, oh, what are you trying to get? I'm like, 12 and a half hours. And they were like, oh, well, if I did an Ironman, I'd probably train like 20 hours a week and hit like 10 hours. And
Uh,
this is from people that have never done a
yeah.
triathlon
See,
before. I'm like, okay, would you?
yeah,
Cool.
good one. See you later. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whenever anyone turns around and says to me, what do you want to achieve? And I'm like, I don't want to die. That's it.
Oh, that's good.
Like,
Yeah.
get through it and don't die. And like it really irks me when people are that way, charity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of missing the point, isn't it?
Oh, it really misses the point. Really, really
Yeah.
misses the point. So, but each of them.
Um, Jess, we need to speak about you not wearing headphones when you're running. I mean, what is going on?
Like,
I think that's more impressive than the event itself.
I honestly cannot wear them at all. Like I sit there and I put those things in my ears and I'm just like, oh, nah, it aggravates me too much. And they said the other day, actually, it's really nice to be able to hear you breathing and make sure you're not actually dying. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I mean, you must have a good relationship with your own mind. I just need to,
I'm a bit
I
mental.
need to
I am a
check
bit
out.
mental.
I mean, what's 100 mile like? What's that like? 15, 20 hours?
Yeah, but about that.
And that's with no music or anything. Like, so you're just out there
Out
with
there,
your own mind.
yeah, listening to whatever's going on. I will say though that because I had one spot during Southern Lakes Ultra that my watch died. It was the long day, so I put it onto my phone instead. And I was like, oh my God, this is taking so long. And I was in the dark, I was by myself. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be like 3 hours. It was an hour and a half. And I'm like, what? Where does your head go? It just, your mind is the thing that reps you.
Yeah.
And I've done that twice now. I did that in Carriera 100 mile last year, where there was this one part that was about 2K. So, and that's where I felt like I was out there for 8 minutes that bit, and it was nowhere near that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It's wild. It's wild.
Yeah. It is wild.
But you just have to keep, it's one of those, like it is that mental game where you have to just try and bring yourself back to reality, or you do yourself little like good shifts along the way. Like my Tarawera when I was no dose.
Yeah.
I've got 2 hours between no dose. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and it just goes.
Yeah, I found that as well. Like with the 777, when I was in day 4, day 5, day 6, you need to play those games like you're like, okay, I'm halfway. Okay, I'm three quarters. Okay,
Yeah,
I'm 7/8. Okay, I'm 19
really do.
20th there. Okay, I've got 10 minutes. Just something to.
You count down each 7K over the
Yeah,
route, like over the event and stuff. You're like, okay, cool. There's my sandwich stop. Okay, got another 7K to go. Okay, that's down. That's you just count yourself down the whole time. It's
on the Southern Lakes, seeing you had to bring your own food, did you plan for calorie intake? Like, were you like, oh, I need to hit 4,000 calories, or were you just like, she'll be all right, wing it?
I'm a wing it, she'll be right kind of girl.
Yeah,
Karen did suggest a certain amount of calories per day and stuff, and I was like, I can't eat that. There's no way I can eat that amount. Then to the point, and I'm sorry, Karen, I was giving food away.
yeah,
So because there's supported or unsupported, and the unsupported guys carry their all got all weight with them. So they've got their big bag, all their food on their back every day. Um, yeah, sleeping bag, all their clothes every time they're out. Whereas we had just units of the day, and everything was like put in tents and stuff, which was for me the better way. But yeah, we had so some of the guys that need a lot more calories than, and I was like, I can't eat this whole bag of stuff. So I was like, have that like handy. I just can't eat that amount.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, like, I mean, I was the opposite. When we were doing 777, I think I put on weight over the week. I mean, I was eating so much. Like, I would wake up and have the biggest bowl for breakfast,
Yeah.
huge lunch, and then at the airport, I was just chocolates,
Oh,
everything
yeah.
I could get
Yeah.
in. Yeah,
I
yeah,
kind of do that with that as well. I don't know why. Yeah, it feels easier to just keep eating when you're doing American stuff
yeah.
rather than off out country ones.
So what's in the pipeline? Is it just the 777 now, and then
Yes,
what's the one? The Delirious?
Delirious. Yeah, Delirious
Yeah,
West. So I'm
yeah,
hoping that I can actually get to that one. I'm just because I'm not supposed to actually do any running for the next 4 weeks.
yeah,
Oh, sorry, husband, I go crazy. But yeah, it's like I just have to see how we go with that. But I am looking at the best that it does not train optimally, and then just goes and does an event.
yeah. Okay.
So yeah, see what happens.
That's what happened to me. I think I got COVID like 5 weeks out of our first 777,
Yeah, you
and
did.
then like I was so stressed coming up to the event because I didn't run for like 3 weeks, and then like I was a bit chesty, but there was no way of pulling out.
No, no, exactly. You did it. You did such a good job. But I still just remember you like hobbling.
I mean, that's a nice way to put it. I think dragging myself along. So
Yeah,
by
yeah, like a
yeah.
double broken leg, but
Well, my ankles, I had really bad ankle swell. So both of my ankles
yeah,
had like, I don't know, doubled in size. And I
yeah,
had to have like my shoelaces completely undone. And I think I was just living off, tramadol or whatever the hell
yeah.
Matt gave me.
That's right. You were
Yeah.
too. You were too.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know,
I was,
so different.
yeah, I was a mess. I was a real mess.
Oh,
I remember after Hobart, was Hobart number 4?
that's
I
halfway.
that was the hardest for me, without a
Oh,
doubt. And
Launceston.
yes, sorry, Launceston. Yeah, yeah. And then after I finished, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, good job." I'm like, I can't talk to anybody,
Yeah.
and I just kind of walked off and like cuddled up in the fetal position in
Right.
the bush,
Right.
just like had a bit of a cry to myself.
Oh,
But I think it was me and you that lost our luggage that day, wasn't it?
and Mel. And Mel.
Yeah,
So
me,
we
you, yeah.
lost our luggage because that's the day that Mel ended up wearing Lucy's brand new shoes and stuffed her. It's stuffed her for years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. She's like still has little repercussions from wearing shoes that weren't good for her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I remember like that was a deep fear of mine that we would lose luggage, right? So I just wore my runners the whole time. So when we got to the event, I had my runners, but I was also wearing like, track pants and like a
Yeah,
normal
that's right.
shirt and stuff like that. Yeah.
Because I've got the like the gymnastics mum thing where put everything in your backpack and take it on the plane like that you need the next day. So I had my shoes and I had my cool outfit for the next day ready to go in my backpack, and then my
Okay.
beard anyway, and it was fine because I had everything. And then the guys had to go and do that dash to the 24-hour Kmart to get it.
You're prepared. You've done it before,
Oh,
so
not my first rodeo.
yeah. So do you still after all of these ultras, do you
Yep.
still have a love and a passion for running? And if so, why?
I really do. I did have the end of last year, I was having a bit of a lull and was kind of, really got to that where I went, you know what? I want to do this. I want to do it. And I think everyone does that. You go through the highs and lows of it all. So I went to do the ultra for the 100K November. Yeah, November, I think it was. And rolled my ankle after in this storm and I think it was about 34K. And then we were held at Dallas Pass for an hour, about 2.5, because of the storm coming through. And and then I ended up at checkpoint, so it took me to be ready. I reckon that day on a paper cut, like I was not in the mindset. So got to the next day, stuff and turn around to the one. Let's go get pizza. I'm done. I left. But like the storm was relentless. Really, I pulled that one. But that's my only ever deep.
You came back. Yeah.
Well, I'll come back to do other stuff. I think again, it comes back to I knew I had something coming up and it was scary. I actually did say to my degree at the time and to reach my husband, I need something to scare me. Everything just feels doing the same things. I don't know. Kind of feels a bit vanilla.
Yeah.
And suddenly I get it, be into it stuff, and now.
Yeah.
So it's good.
So were you ultra running prior to your first 777, or was that your?
Well, I've been running for a long time, but I think I'd done the UTA, like Alex Blair.
Is that the one in that's the one in? Sorry, that's the one in Victoria, is it?
No, that one's up in Blue Mountains, up near Sydney.
That's right. Yep.
Yeah. So
Isn't that one like crazy vert?
Yeah. Yeah. It's a lot
So
of
what distance?
stairs and
What
ladders.
distance?
Up until then, I'd done the 50 a couple of times. I've done the 100 there once. And then I've done the Death where I did the 22 and then did the 50 the next day. But I'd only done maybe twice before 2-3 times, something like that. Yeah, so that was kind of my only foray into it out of that private.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's good.
So why do you keep coming back?
I You- That's a hard question to answer. I I do really,
It's funny that that's a hard question to answer
yeah.
because
It's bizarre.
yeah.
It's bizarre. Like I do really love it, and I think so. Skiing is my sport. I love
Okay.
like it is my absolute 100%. I would do that every day if I could, but I can't. So running downhill is quite close.
Are you talking about water skiing or snow
No,
skiing?
snow skiing, snow skiing. That's like my absolute happy place. But I mean, even my number plate on my car is school lunch. Two favorite sports on my number plate. But it's I think that's kind of the closest way that I can get to the mountains and do something active without actually the game because I
Okay.
can't ski every day, unfortunately.
I think I'm going to the snow for the first time this year. We're going to Bright.
Oh, nice. Yeah, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, awesome.
Oh, that'll be a
Any
video. You
recommendations?
need to get videos of that. That'll be hilarious.
Yeah. Me hurting myself.
Oh my gosh. I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. So no, I've been
Cool.
like skiing since I was before I could walk. So,
Yeah.
and then my dad was a runner as well. So there's the Great Racing Melbourne.
What, sorry?
It's called the Great Train Race in
No, I
Melbourne.
never heard of it. What's that?
Gosh. So it's against there's a train called Pushing Billy
Yeah.
up in the Dandenongs. It was my dad's idea, not that. And it's almost 40 years that that's been going for. So yeah, so it's kind of
Sorry?
family. So you race the train. The train leaves at the same time as the runners leave in Belgrade, to Enrich, and you have to try and beat the train.
So what's the distance?
It originally it's 13, they've changed it the last 3 years. So the original format was 4 kilometers.
Okay.
It's really
Um,
cool. It's really cool. So running's kind of
awesome.
in.
Um, endurance athletes often talk about hitting the wall. Can you talk about your experience with hitting the wall and how do you get through those dark times?
I've only hit a wall once, and that I can think like hit the real wall where like locked once, and like
Really? You've only hit the wall once with
once.
all of those ultras?
Yeah, yeah, just once.
Wow.
Once. I mean,
Wow.
I have been a big Suki Lala and burst into tears at events, but that's the only actually wall where I was like we breathed and was like I can't keep going. Only one time, and it's scary. It's
When
really,
was that? What event was that?
it actually was just a training run.
Oh,
We,
really?
yep, yeah. I never bumped during an event, but it was a real, like, can't catch breath, can't breathe, and people, there was an event going, a mountain hockey event going on at the same time, and people pouring water over me, just trying to, like, straight off. Got a house up there and stuff, and just a mess.
Yeah.
But it was real, like, can't breathe, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
Really
That's
faint and
hectic.
stuff. Yeah, only once.
Did you have a fear of getting back into it after that?
No, I think I ran the next. I have, yeah, it's. I think I am a bit of a mental.
Yeah. Um, what has running taught you about yourself that you don't think you would have learned otherwise?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, coming out with the hard ones now.
Well, I mean, I can start if you like. I mean,
If you want to.
so 777 was my attempt. Like I was working too much at the time. I was obsessed with growing the business. My life was basically work, work, work. I wasn't spending enough time with the family. I wasn't having fun in life. And it was my attempt to kind of get away from that and try to,
Oh,
try to do something other than just obsess over making money, basically.
yeah.
Um, and it kind of proved to me in a way that I don't know, I'm capable of so much more than if I set my mind to it, right? So, it also kind of yeah, it took me away from my obsession with I guess wealth creation and trying to prove to the world that I'm good enough. Even though in a funny way it was to prove the world I'm good enough. But yeah, it took me away from that and kind of I don't know led me to trying to I guess, chase more awesome experiences and also meet more amazing people. I think prior to that first 777, I was very much in a bubble of the my high school friends and the people that I grew up with, right? And don't get me wrong, I still love them, but like meeting a bunch of amazing people that are just doing amazing things showed me took me out of my box and kind of showed me what's capable or sorry what's possible in life and that there's a big world out there of people who are doing amazing things, you know. And I've seen a lot of your posts about your running community basically, and I really relate to that. It was a way of me kind of meeting a bunch of amazing people who are trying to make themselves and the world a better place.
I think exactly what you've just said then with that you're one person, you're very small in the world, but if one person can do something and a community can do so much more, like how much of a difference can we?
Yeah.
And I think being the basically the starting point for thinking stuff is great. And if I can do that running, or if you can do it through whatever it is, like if you love playing chess, if you do something and make a difference playing chess, amazing. Through sewing, amazing, whatever. Through just realizing your world is very, and there's so much more out there, so many things that you can find. It's so beyond you. And
Yeah.
I feel like even I'm in a group again talking to me called Running to Resilience Canberra, and it's the group of people that we're trying to make Canberra free. And we had a look at the statute of it just recently, and it was saying the amount of suicide that's happened in Canberra has dropped dramatically. And over the last in this running for resilience, and it's there in black and white. We can see it, and it's really, and we have like between 400 and 500 every Wednesday and got together, and it's massive and it's growing crazy. So I think that having that purpose really is the driving force, and a lot of the the purposes with are very connected. So
Yeah.
there's just sexual abuse, and then that potentially can turn into suicide and all that sort of stuff. It's very cohesive.
So purpose and community.
100%.
That's awesome.
Not speed.
Not speed. Love that. Love that. Do you think people underestimate their capacity for endurance, whether in sport, life, or hardship?
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
You've got what is it? It's like 10% more potential than what you ever think that you can achieve. So if you bench press whatever, you've still got more in you to be able to move further. And if you don't run it, you'll never know.
Yeah. Yeah. There's not an experiment, but there's like an activity that I've seen at a lot of conferences, and they basically the person at the front will say, raise your hand as high as you possibly can, and everybody puts their hand up, and then he goes, raise a bit higher, and they go higher, and they go, well, I originally asked you to go as high as you can, so it's just a way of demonstrating that you can always push a bit harder and go a bit further. And I think so many people in life live or I guess they're stuck in their own little bubble of what they think is they're capable of. I mean, there's a saying I love: a lack of confidence killed more dreams than a lack of competence ever did, and I think that applies to endurance and running. And that goes back to what I was saying before about, what running has done for me. It's proved that what you think isn't that you what you think you're not capable of, potentially you are capable of. And really, I mean, just looking over your journey from marathons to 50K to 777s to bloody 250K stage races, where's the limit, and I mean, you were
That's true.
talking about a 200 miler. I mean, that is insane.
Well, the, again, you're referring back to Southern Lakes Ultra, the people that were there, the stuff that some of those people have done is mind blowing. And I'm talking people who are in their 60s, 50s, 60s, people who are, you hear so many people turn around and they get, I mean, up on there, like, okay, well, I'm done.
Yeah.
And why? Like, keep
And yeah, 100%. And that's why, like, and that's what I was saying before about meeting amazing people. Like, I've got all of the people that we did 777 on social media now, and
Yep.
I'm scrolling through my feed going, holy shit, Justice did a 250K.
Who did that?
Cooksy's doing a marathon in Antarctica. Like, it's just,
It's
it's
so cool.
yeah,
But
it's
how
so
inspiring
cool.
is it though, too? Hey,
Inspiring. Yeah, yeah, awesome. And like I said, like, I've been doing a lot of weight training, but I haven't done any endurance stuff since I finished the Ironman. And
yeah,
literally, like, I was like doing a bit of prep for talking to you yesterday, and I'm scrolling through your Facebook, and I'm like, I'm gonna go for a run. And I went for a run the first time yesterday. Within, yeah,
is that
so
inspiration or is it influencing you?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe it's a bad influence. I don't know. Maybe I'm gonna sign up to something crazy.
Okay, exactly,
We'll see.
exactly. You
Yeah,
know what? The
yeah.
world's your oyster. You can do anything you want to do. You just got to put your mind to it and make it happen.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly, exactly. And I think a lot of people are scared to do that, and I think that's why. Yeah, I mean, that's why I wanted to talk to you, because talking to people like you, it inspires you to kind of get up and actually do something. So
yeah. Oh, that's nice. That's really nice. But it's. I mean, if you've got something that you want to do and you really like, I struggle to articulate why and stuff with the what, that sort of all that sort of stuff. But if you've got something that has a bigger purpose than yourself, you can do anything.
yeah, 100%. Because that's what life's about. Life's about passion, purpose, experience, meaning, and it's so hard to. I don't know. It's so easy just to forget that.
Yeah.
And like one of my biggest fears, and I don't know whether I haven't figured out whether this is a healthy or unhealthy fear yet.
Yeah.
One of my biggest fears is becoming an old man and looking back and going, I didn't do anything I wanted to do, right? But that drives me to jump headfirst into things like this
Oh,
777 stuff like that. So
100%. And I think I think a lot of people have that fear. I think it's a very common one.
I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
Sure.
Cool.
Cool.
How do you define success now compared to when you first started running?
Ooh, again, I will talk about the speed thing because I think when I started was more, I want to be able to go faster, I want to be able to go further, I want to be able to, and now it's more, I guess, bring it down to that humility, that and actually making a difference as opposed to about just myself.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Don't get
So
me wrong, like I do love having those days where I turn around and go, oh my gosh, I hit a 4 minute K or whatever. Like, let me get a little buzz out of that. But
but the obsession, yeah, I mean the obsession with comparison to others. I mean that's I mean that can be moved over to all other aspects of life, really. But
correct.
like, just the obsession of comparing yourself with others, and
Yeah.
it just leads to you consistently thinking I'm not good enough. And like you said as well, like it defeats the whole purpose of what we're doing here. It's about building a community, running with a purpose, experience. And yeah, I think focusing on speed is a perfect kind of it just, yeah, it's a perfect
It feeds to ego.
my it feeds the ego. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My brain's not working at the moment, but it
It's all
basically it's yeah, it's all the things that lead to an unhealthy or unhappy mentality,
Correct.
So
Agreed.
yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
And especially when you are doing something that has purpose behind it and stuff, and then and then you, oh, I went this fast, right? And so who cares?
yeah, yeah, exactly.
So
I don't know. And like I said before, the funniest one for me is like people who have never gone for a run and they're just like, so what's your time?
yeah,
Obsessing over it, like, and how are you going to improve on that? You're like, just
yeah,
relax,
right.
okay?
That's right. And they go do a 5K park run and stuff like that, and they're busted for a week.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Which is fine, but it's just, yeah,
Such
I think you're missing the point, basically.
yeah, correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Awesome, Jess. Look, it's such a pleasure catching up with you.
Honestly, yes, thank
Thanks so
you.
much for coming on the show.
Would have just been even better if you could have met in the real world.
We'll have to next time I'm in that part of the world for sure.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Thanks, Jess.
Thanks, Luke, so much. Appreciate it.